Amma ba'd, respected brothers and sisters, all praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us the opportunity to start our day with the masjid. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us the blessings of this day and protect us from the evil. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. One of the necessity of human being is to communicate with individuals, to express his feelings by words. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Allah Azza wa Jal created Adam alayhi salam, after Adam alayhi salam was given his partner Hawa alayhi salam, the narration of Sahih Muslim describes the reason. Istahwasha Adam. Adam alayhi salam he was feeling lonely, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave and he generated a companion. Now, having a companion, it's a very great blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But sometimes companions cannot be considered a very great blessing when a person he's not mindful of way that he expresses his feelings. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put this inside this human being, the ability to express yourself by words. And these words, they are such that either it can be a positive impact on a person or it can have a negative impact. And as we were speaking in different aspects from the hadith of Rasul alayhi salatu wassalam regarding the importance of using or having the minimum amount of communication when it comes to talking with individuals. Now, when there is a need of talking to people, how are we going to govern our words? This is very important. In Sahih al-Bukhari, there is a narration by Aisha radiallahu anha that she mentions that Rasul alayhi salatu wassalam, إِذَا كَانَ تَكَلَّمَ, when the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam used to speak, لَوْ عَدَّهُ الْعَادِ, if a person wants to count his words, they can count them on their finger. That's how precise his words were when he spoke. In fact, she mentions that once I was praying my optional prayer in my house, and Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu came to talk to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The conversation was so precise, to the point, and so brief that before I can even finish 2 rak'ah of my sunnah or my optional prayer, they were done with talking and went on. That's how precise, that's how brief the conversation Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam would have. In fact, when the Prophet alayhi salam would be sitting in gatherings, his words that he would speak in a very brief and a very precise way that anyone who would like to understand what he is saying, they can immediately understand. And at the same time, if the person was to count any unnecessary words in the conversation of Nabi alayhi salam, they won't be able to count any unnecessary words. So that's how precise his talks were. And he would be very calm at the time of speaking. You know, sometimes when incidents happen and you want to narrate your story or you want to narrate what happened, you would like to add as many attractive words or as many attractive sentences to make your point go across. With the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was such that he would deflate any difficult situation in such a way that it was a very simple thing. We would come, the Sahaba say, we would come to Nabi alayhi salam with our situation, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will take that conversation in such a way that we would think that as if nothing has happened to us, as if no situation came. So that's one of the things that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, with his speech, the way he communicated, he addressed. That no matter how difficult or tense the situation might be, it is your responsibility as a listener or as a narrator of the story to deflate it to an extent where this situation does not go to an extent of dispute and then going on to arguments and fights. This is what has been mentioned by the muhaddithun when they talk about the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam being given أعطيت جوامع الكلم, that Allah has given me with the blessings of Jawami al-Kalim. Jawami al-Kalim is not just about speaking the least amount of word with maximum meaning. It's also about how to control situations, the most difficult ones, and to deflate them in such a way that they don't end up in problems or arguments. So this is a very great sunnah of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. A lot of times the person wants to manipulate the words, right? And he wants to narrate his story in such a way that everyone on the other side feels that he is the one that is being oppressed at all time. Whereas the situation is in a different way, right? You can say one word, or you can narrate one incident in many different ways, and you can manipulate the words in such a way that is always fitting to your needs and your own desire. But this is not the teachings that has been given to us by Rasul alayhi salam. Rather, the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam is that when a person speaks, he needs to be very careful on selection of his words. When a person speaks, he needs to be very mindful of his surrounding. He needs to be in such a tone which is soothing. He needs to make sure that the person understands, and he also needs to make sure that the words that he uses, they make the meaning go across, and he can avoid as much as possible when it comes to excessive of words. We ask Allah to grant us understanding, ask Allah to grant us the ability to practice on the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Amin ya Rabbal Alameen. Jazakum Allahu khairan. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.